I'm Tom from Do-It-Yourself Home Automation, and this is a look at how I did on my first Ohmhour from Ohmconnect. So Ohmconnect, as I showed in another video, is a service where you can subscribe and they connect to your utility if you live in California or a couple other cities outside of the state. And it tracks the amount of power that you use. And then during certain times, Ohmconnect works with the utilities to reduce power usage and avoid having to turn on different power plants. So if there's going to be a high demand time, they'll work with their users to reduce power consumption during that time. They call them these ohm hours. And the utilities pay them to do that, and it prevents dirtier gas or coal power plants from having to come online to supplement the grid during those high usage times. And then they pass some of that money on to the users, so you earn points during these ohm hours if you can reduce your power usage below a particular goal. So how did I do on my first Ohmhour ever? It was a complete fail, as you can see here. On August the 14th from 6 to 7 p.m., that was the Ohmhour. They provide a forecast there, so you can see that my forecast was 2.629 kilowatt hours, and that's based on, if you scroll down, your average usage during that particular hour on the last few days, and they're pulling this data again from your utility. In my case, it's PGE. So they gave me in advance this forecast. Now, if I had used less power than the forecasted amount, I would have gotten points for every amount of power that I saved, every kilowatt hour or fraction that I saved, I would have gotten some points. You can see, unfortunately, I did not do a very good job of reducing my consumption. I actually almost used double the predicted amount, and so my points were actually negative 279 points for that overage. I think, I don't know if they always do this, but at least for my first time, they didn't deduct those points from my balance. They just gave an adjustment, so I'm still at 0 points. I imagine if you had earned points, though, and then you used more than the predicted amount, then they would probably take some of your earned points away, which makes sense. They're getting paid by the utility to reduce usage, so if you're increasing your usage during that time, then that's going to hurt their contract with the utility, so it makes sense they're sort of penalizing that. Some suggestions that they have here are to add a connected device, and this is where the smart home component comes in. So you can actually tie this to plugs and thermostats in your house and let the service automatically switch certain things off during the ohm hours to help you save. I haven't done that yet, but that would be one way to help. And again, this is the forecast and what that forecast was based on my previous usage during other days. And you can see on some days I used very little power during that hour. So if that ohm hour had happened to fall on Friday the 9th, for example, I would have racked up some points there. But in this case, it was about 100 degrees outside, and I think my air conditioner ran for the full hour, which means I used a ton of power and blew right through my forecast. Next time that there's an ohm hour, I'll try it again. Again, they recommend, there's some suggestions here for how to beat your forecast, but basically not using major appliances is the biggest thing. So total fail on the first one, but I still think this is a great service, and I really look forward to continuing to test it. And I'll show you how I do on my next Ohmhour, and hopefully I can actually show the process of earning and then redeeming some points if I'm able to reduce my usage. If you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps.